Okay, it'll be interesting to see if we're in focus now. For some people, not for me so much. This is going to be more interesting to me, I think, because I always knew the GFX 100S audio was superior to my Nikon Z6 and obviously the Z50. But, you know, I did a video the other night down here. It's never going to see the light of day because there's just too much wind. It does have pretty good wind reduction in the camera, and I thought I'd just see how well it did. It did terribly, as should have been expected. So here, as you're going to hear me zipping up here to really protect it though, probably degrade my high-end vocal resonance. Yeah, sorry about this. So tonight though, what I'm going to be doing here is simply comparing this audio to the Z50. The Z50 sucks. It could be potentially good, but the biggest problem is there's no headphone out. There's a mic in on it, of course, but I can't monitor it, so to check levels is impossible without just tedious work that I haven't had the time or care to really do. The GFX 100S, you know, I can monitor, I can get a pretty good level, and right now I am monitoring just to see because I want to know if I'm clipping or anything. It sounds pretty damn good, so we're gonna roll with it and see how well it does as these guys roll on out on their skateboards. What's up? Yeah, they know I'm down. I got the signal. So now, from here on out though, what I'm going to be doing is we're going to go down to the water. But yeah, we're gonna get down to there's a trail here, and we're gonna basically go the long way back to the station. I'll probably stop this at some point when I get a little bit worried about noise levels from the traffic. Yeah, honestly, I kind of wanted to go the other way around, but this makes more sense because I'll be able to come back to a peaceful scenario. Believe me, it makes sense. So what we're gonna do here, excuse me, I think I already messed this up though. What we're going to do, what are we going to do? I don't think I've actually done this yet. We are gonna do this. We're gonna hit the stairs. So, oh, you know, completely forgot. I could totally edit this and start again, but why? This should handle this fairly well because I have auto ISO on, and I gotta stop. I gotta put this camera up high. It's tiring, but I'm pretty sure you guys are tired of seeing my nose hairs, and I'm about to accentuate my nose hairs as soon as this thing goes on. Should probably double check the lighting before we do this because we don't need to be at 100%, which we are. Okay. This might just make a decent situation terrible though. This might be way too much. I'm gonna turn it down like 25% maybe. I don't think we need much with this camera. 27, that seems reasonable. Yeah, and this way too, I don't get blinded and I can still see where I'm going. So how does that look again up my nose? Sorry about that. Maybe the universe just wants everybody to see up my nose. Find the hidden gold. All right, so how is that? I'm very curious and I won't know till I get home. Yeah. I need to, I think my mount for my phone, because the app on this Fuji actually is surprisingly good and simple and doesn't seem to drain the phone's battery like the Nikon app. So I need to start carrying that connector that puts it on top of the camera in there. And I think I put it in the wrong backpack though. What's great though is that this little light has this hot shoes or cold shoes all the way around it. It's a little Ulanzi square RGB thing. And I bought like 2 of them for basically 20 bucks a piece. I wanted to buy like 10 because I had dreams of doing some like rainbow stuff. But anyways, so the bottom line is though that I'd be able to mount the phone actually on top. It's gonna get pretty high, but you know, not bad, right? I'd be looking up. You guys see my beautiful eyes looking up at the light. So here we go. I'm looking at beautiful stuff. You're just looking at, well, that's not bad, is it? We're gonna turn around. I'm gonna flip the camera all the way around because at least this will make sure I can see if we're actually exposed correctly or not. I know I'm slurring. It's actually my sinuses. I'm not drunk. My sinuses are all stuck. Oh, that looks pretty good. Yeah, I mean, if I was actually taking a photo and not vlogging, we'd be like there. It's not bad. I tell you, this Irix lens, as I said before, I'm not sure if this is one vlog or two. If it's split up, just watch the other one, okay? Show me some love. But yeah, this Irix is absolutely, in my opinion, GFX level. Now, especially when you're doing video, because I don't even have to crop into 35mm mode here. Now, you're seeing a tiny bit of vignetting in the corners. Anyways, so this is our path. We're walking down this way. We could go the other way towards the station, but it's really close way. So, and I do see that flicker. That's a shutter. There we go. That should be fine now. Yeah. Let's do this thing, okay? So, now we're on the camera that I was talking about the other night, and the video that may or may not see the release. There was a second one with the Z50 with the mic tucked like this, so there wasn't the wind issue, but there was autofocus issues, which is why I'm doing this with the GFX now, because with the Irix lens, obviously, I might be out of focus. If I was watching somebody's video, I would rather see them completely out of focus without some crazy, pulsing back and forth thing. So I think I'm probably somewhat in focus, and if not, this should be reasonable. So yeah, GFX system. Like I said, I'm not going to be doing many of these. Actually, that was in the video that hasn't been released. Anyways, basically, I'm not going to be doing a lot of talking about camera stuff anymore, except for right now. And that's because I just want to say, as far as, I think I've said it already, why I chose the GFX system, why I'm sticking with it for now. But, there's been rumors that a sports camera version of a GFX, whatever that really means, is coming. And it's funny because those rumors supposedly are about an actual interview, but I've never actually seen the actual interview. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I've noticed a trend of hype pointing to interviews lately that are non-existent. So people seem to just be wanting to boost their channels through outright lies. I'm not saying that about this one, I'm just saying that maybe. So, but I think it's probably true, and I think this would be very interesting for me. Now, what would I want? See, here's the thing is I can't go down from 100 megapixels, but I can. What I would want is to keep this camera, the 100 megapixel GFX 100S, I can't talk tonight. But ideally I'd like to have this in a 400 megapixel daylight landscape, amazing thing. But no, for sports, and for me, what sports means really is birding. Stuff like that, like Kawasemi Kingfisher. I would want something, you have to bring out the lenses, that's the thing, for this to really work, okay? There's two, otherwise there's option B, which we'll get to in a second here, but basically, I want a 24 megapixel GFX system camera. I want giant pixels. I basically want a Nikon Z6 on steroids. Or just, think of it as Z9-like capabilities in a GFX camera, but at actually lower megapixels. I just felt my lips start to split. I've had chapped lips all week because I've been sick. But anyway, so I don't want to do like that. So yeah, but what I really want is I don't want something that's just like, okay, this is your bird camera only. I want something that does stellar video, like a Nikon Z6, which does still beat this A7S III, no matter what you tell yourself. And, just that's able to shoot really fast, has stellar autofocus, and cinema-like capabilities. Like make it two. Like if you want to knock it out of the park, Fujifilm, you make that camera a hybrid that nobody's really expecting, which is like the ultimate sports camera, birding camera, sports camera, that happens to also be the ultimate cinema camera in your hands. Just make it epic on both levels. And they kind of make sense to each other, because for that we don't need 8K. I like it, I like the idea, but we don't need it. And there's other cameras for that. So Yeah, I was gonna walk out of these people's ways. They're a little couple, but I'm not doing that tonight. I'm not sacrificing the cinema just to appease people. So Fujifilm, don't try to appease a small group just to get a point across. Make it something that really stretches new boundaries, like your X-T3 did. And that's why it was so popular, because the film specs on that very photo-capable camera were absolutely, at that time, unheard of. So you can do it again. And yeah, like I said, it's got to be long lenses need to come out with that. When I say long lenses, you have to have like an 800 millimeter in there. 600 millimeter bare minimum, but no, really, you got to bring out an 800 millimeter. I hope you guys can make a 2-time teleconverter that blows away that stigma of 2-time converters never being as good as 1.4. I think Nikon did that with their Z mount converters. The 2 I've heard is very good. But anyways, so that's I think most important. Now, the B part is if you don't do that, if you're still thinking about high megapixels. Okay, so this camera, I mean, the 50, I'm not even gonna talk about the 50 megapixel option, because that's probably what's gonna be. I'm not gonna talk about that, because I'm talking about the 2 other options, okay? So, if you're gonna do the other option, is this water too much? I really like this wall. We're coming back here if I'm coming tomorrow with my friend slash model slash camera woman. I may be modeling tomorrow, by the way. But, yeah, 100 megapixels, give us an APS-C mode. There's no APS-C mode in this GFX 100S. There is a 35 millimeter mode, full frame, you know, and then there's also the like X-Pan mode and some other crops, but an actual APS-C mode that is able to utilize that super, you know, CPU power, frame rates, autofocus improved, like make it work that way, if that's possible. And that way we can crop in, you know, to whatever, 24 megapixels. This, when it crops into full frame, by the way, in photo, is 60 megapixels roughly. So to crop into APS-C territory, you should be able to keep it, I don't know, what would that be? I'd imagine 30-ish, 35 maybe. So, and even crop in further, but just make it very user-friendly. Something that you can flip around, you know, flip on the fly. It's not going to be like diving into menus. It's just like, maybe you make it super smart. You zoom in, have like a B button where you can turn the lens again, and now it knows, okay, we've now switched into APS-C mode. Like have that cutoff for, you know, for GFX mode be right at the 35 millimeter beginning, and then again at the APS-C beginning for 35 millimeter. I think you guys know what I'm saying. Anyways, so that's basically it, I think. I mean, I'm sure I could come up with a laundry list of things I want. I've already said it. I mean, the body needs to be greatly improved. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's a great body. It's DSLR, like da 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 da. It's kind of a chunky brick of a camera. It's really just an XH1 or XH2, you know, sized up, and that doesn't make sense. To have it be this size, it's really nice colors on the Ferris wheel. I know it's gonna look tiny to you guys on this wide angle, but yeah, I'm gonna stop walking for a little while. I think that's part of my problem here. Walking and chewing gum at the same time doesn't work for me. That was a metaphor. Anyways, so yeah, this body should be more like a larger DSL body. Not that the body needs to be so much larger itself, but the ergonomics need to be that. It needs to be the birding camera. It needs to be made for being held for a really long time, and it's really not. This camera, it's almost there, but it's not. It's not. So, I think I was just getting ready to fall asleep there. I'm tired. Yeah, let's see. You know what? We're going to continue this test to see how well this system does when you take it on a busy highway. Or, we know that goes through. I don't want to do the busy highway. I don't feel like it. I'm going to go back through where we just came through, because I'm pretty sure there's a secret path that connects to where I'm going. And if it doesn't, we learn something. Definitely coming here for photography again, though. This waterfall in the daytime was wonderful, and it's just, you know, I don't think about those things like, oh, maybe they light up the waterfall at night, but they do. That's not my train of thought. So yeah, this is planned for tomorrow, daytime. I'm not going to be able to hang around nighttime. I do come here twice a year, or twice a year. It used to be about twice a year, twice a week. And I may have some other models. We're maybe in talks right now about some nighttime photos in this area. So hopefully that comes to fruition sooner than later. There's a potential model sitting there talking on the phone. Wow, there's some great colors. Not her, there's some great colors. She is pretty, but there's some great colors down there too. Okay. So this will be really interesting too about how well this light does. I mean, it's a little bit embarrassing because people obviously notice me a lot more when I'm lit up like a Christmas tree. So, let me know what you think though. I think that it probably lets this system shine a little bit more. Very curious what the ISO is at. Can I see my reflection in this? Maybe not. Oh, I can. Oh my God, I found a flippy screen. Look at that. I can actually see myself, but can I actually see the ISO? It looks like 2500, something like that. I found my flippy screen. Hey there. Wow, that's pretty damn nice. From what I'm seeing right now, that's pretty good lighting. I'm just gonna stand here for the rest of the night. It's just I'm not gonna flip it over because it's gonna be free advertising for all these companies. It's just a little, like a mini billboard behind plexiglass. So here we go. This is not the main road. Wow, we're back to where we started. I guess, see the whole point of the main road, it's not the main road. I used to get annoyed by the way I talk. Now I just crack myself up because I know the way I talk. And I know it's silly. There's a lot of incomplete sentences and thoughts. They're complete in here, but I just give up on them. I'm like, you know what, that's not worth saying. I don't want to keep going on that path. So I hope it's mildly entertaining to some of you. And I think what I was trying to say is that, yeah, I wanted to check this area earlier because I've been around here a lot. Hi. But it looks like good beer, but I've never actually checked out some of these little shops around here. And it looked during the daytime like there's a lot of interesting little bars, and that's what that was a little bar. With a very lovely person inside smiling at me. She even bowed at me. But, so that's why we are going to this main road here. This is likely all very heavily edited down for a couple reasons. One, I don't want to do a super long video. Two, there is likely going to be some noise beyond what this little lav will accept. Three, I may get sick from people wearing way too much cologne. Perfume too, by the way, ladies and men. Seriously, if you're gonna wear it, just like drop, you're done. Why do you need more? It seriously makes me sick. So, okay, this looks a little bit more highfalutin than I had hoped for. Try and get back to the more interesting little zones. Yeah. You know, it's not as noisy as I thought it'd be on this highway, if you want to call it a highway. So, we're coming to the main one, so that might be defining line. You see a lot of Suzuki Samurai type things riding around in Tokyo, by the way. I think they may even still make a new version. They don't call them Samurais here, go figure. It's really amazing, like the Z50 makes my arm tired, and yes, this GFX does, but it's not significantly more. I know I was just shitting on the ergonomics, but that was properly facing ergonomics. The backwards ergonomics do seem, you just have a lot more to hold on to, but I have a little L bracket on here, which kind of helps. But I do have this fear when I'm holding it with this hand that I'm just going to drop the whole thing. Gotta be rolling into this shop just to check the prices. I used to collect and sell this kind of stuff. If you know what it is, you know. If you don't, you don't. And we're coming up on a train station underground. This building interested me earlier because it's run down, looking like it used to be fancy. There's an interesting guy out there. I'll try and link to him, but he's got a book about, I forgot the Japanese word, but it basically means like dead architecture or something like that. It's stuff that was abandoned, especially during the 90s when they had the huge economic crash in Japan, and a lot of stuff went out of business, including like massive hotels, like beautiful like marble, usually not marble, tile onsens, like hot springs and stuff like that. Ooh, see, I want to explore down that way, but I know once I get into that territory, somebody's going to buy me a drink and then it's all over and I never get home. We're not doing that tonight. So what are we doing? We're not going to go down this way, even though that might be the more convenient station. I need to get to the other station because I need to tell somebody which exit I want to meet at tomorrow. And I'm not sure of the exit name, so that's what we're doing. I want a beer, but I'm not going to do that either. Okay, this is the noisy highway. If ever anything got edited out, it's going to be right here. We're probably losing the magic architecture in this area now, though. It's chunky. Chunky architecture of the old. It's weird. I've really, it's been subconscious, and I finally today just put it all in my head where I said, you know what, old, like in general, I'm talking more European style, because there's a lot of European style architecture around here, like from the turn of the century. Some of it even looks like it's supposed to be more like 2, or maybe it is like 2 or 3 years, 100 years old. I'm not sure. But it doesn't do much for me. Like stuff with like a lot of details and stuff, looking like it's a castle or whatever this is next to me. And like Roman architecture, even as a child, like Roman architecture just always looks so boring to me. So boring to me. I do enjoy the South American and Mexican architecture of old pyramids and you know, their observatories for the stars and stuff like that is much more interesting to me. But yeah, it's just, there's something really sterile feeling to me as we're getting close to one. Let's see if we can get up to it, or at least turn around so you can see it. It's pretty ill lit right now. I almost want to call it like, I don't think it's quite medieval, but this type of stuff, like I can see how, like, yeah, I mean, you could make a dramatic photo with it, but it doesn't interest me. The top of that almost, but see, even though I can see the image that I can make out of that, and it'd be a striking image, but not an image that I personally would want. I'm just like, that's not the image for me. I think I'm supposed to go over one street. But you know what? We might as well, because we didn't actually cruise this street earlier. So we'll go over next to Mr. Medieval Hunchback of Notre Dame. It's a museum, for the record. It's the Kanagawa Prefectural Museum of Cultural History. Ironically looking like European history. That doesn't quite make sense to me. But what are you gonna do? Yeah, I am feeling this though. When I put on this arm, I'll say this, the Z50 made my left arm tired and a little bit hurt. That's my wrist that I broke about a month ago, 2 months ago now. But with this, it feels like it could just snap the bone again. So I'm gonna try to cut that out. We are running parallel with the station. We'll do this because I've never done this. I know I'm gonna come to a clusterfuck of an intersection that I gotta cross. But I think saying that I've never been in this area is wrong, but this is a street I seldom go down. Just to give you an idea, we're another one of this kind of fancy architectural little area. walking backwards until I get escorted out. This okay. Oh, this is probably a museum too. Pilgrim 19th Club beverage. Okay, there's a bar. Once you have an echo in a building, but here's some potential for photography tomorrow. I don't want to see, I got to be really careful today because if I get escorted out of one of these places today, then they're going to be on the lookout for me tomorrow. So I would rather save that for, I'm hoping that my counterpart tomorrow, female photographer, is the brave type, because, you know, probably people in general, but in Japan definitely, a lot of people are kind of scared to break any little tiny rules, even if they're really not, you know, they're harmless things, right? But I enjoy breaking the rules. Neon Italian restaurant. That is a very neon Italian restaurant down there. I'm not gonna go light myself up by that. So I think we're entering Chinatown, by the way. This is, I would love to go get some really good Chinese food right now, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because I know what's gonna lead to. It's gonna lead to drinks eventually, and it's gonna lead to me not getting home. But that's, you know, that's good right there, because that's the part of Chinatown I've been trying to find lately. I took the train to the actual official station and couldn't actually get to the place I wanted to get to. So I just walked up on it, and it's closer than I hoped. I knew it was pretty close, but it's right there. So that means someday here after work, or maybe even tomorrow, if me and my friend are hungry, we go for a little Chinese food. There's one place in there that I've been to a couple times. It's great. You know, it's got the labyrinth. You have to go, you know, there's each separate room. Anyways, I got this awesome room. It's got the rotating, like the real Lazy Susan type table. And the prices were, at that time, that was about 10 years ago, but really not bad. Like maybe 600 yen. So like now that'd be like $5 for a, you know, plate. And it was just awesome. And they have all the different like little spicy sauces and oils and things that you don't always see. I love the little mystery sauces and stuff. So anyways, that was awesome, and I'd like to go find that one again. I think I could find that one because it was right on the main street, if I remember correctly. So, all right, ultimate test of the, I always forget about those little trolley looking bus. And if I remember correctly, it's actually free to take that all around here, and I always forget it exists. I always walk all over. And there are days where it'd be nice to just get on a little trolley, and I gotta figure out the schedule because I bet I could master it and I could do some, hi, how are you? Do you want to be on video? Hello? Hello? Hello. Thank you. So, anyways, I should master the trolley schedule and utilize it to get to like some scenic spots, because that's basically all it goes to. So that's on my agenda, and I've said it here, so I need to publish this one so I actually remember that, because as silly as it is, I do watch my videos for very good, oh, bye-bye, see you. Wow. I say good on him, because he's like me, he's a bigger guy, and he's got a very beautiful young woman. I say young, but you know, in Japan, you think she's 20 and she's 40 or 50. It goes the other way though. Be really, really careful in Japan, because there are a lot of girls that you think are in their 20s, and no. And they're in the bars. Anyways. Japan is like oh shit, how do I say it? I'm always like worried, like if what I say will be miscongeal. I can't talk English anymore. Let's just say misunderstood, misinterpreted. But yeah, Japan, I'll say it. Japan is sophisticated Mexico. Now, I used to live in Mexico, and I know some parts of Mexico are very sophisticated. But what I mean by that is that it has the same kind of looseness about who can get alcohol. And they like to pretend that's not true, but it is. But it's you know, it's Japan, so it's a little bit more sophisticated than Mexico. In Mexico, at least when I lived there, basically a 10-year-old could buy in, you know, go to the store and buy a fifth of any alcohol and say it's for his dad, and most places I believe that would have been acceptable. I saw similar situations, so in Japan that would not fly. So it's a little bit more masked, is maybe what I should say. Coming up in the station, I'm gonna take you all the way to the track, all right? You can hear the trains, that's gotta be exciting, right? It's kind of a test too, because, you know, GFX, nice thing is, this is gonna be a lot of editing for me, but it's no limit that I know of in 4K. Maybe it's like a 1 or 2 hour limit, but I've got this new team group 512 gigabyte card, so no risk of running out there. I'm in F-Log, I'm in the highest, like 400 megabits per second. This is definitely gonna all get deleted after it's posted because I'm not gonna deal with that memory issue because I already have memory space issues I'm dealing with. So I'm checking the trains real quick because I don't want to be waiting a long time. I know that's loud. 2009, yeah. It's basically my train. I'm basically getting on it, yeah. There's a little store. I really kind of wanted to get something to drink, but I'm not that thirsty, and I just ate, so I don't really need that much. So here we go. This is what we're doing now. Going up. This is not the most exciting section of this station as far as visual pleasiness goes. In fact, I'd say this station is a big station, but it's not the most visually pleasing station. This is very similar to what a smaller station looks like, just on a bigger scale. There is a train. That's not my train, okay. Was that dramatic? Cinematic? Probably not. So at this point, my train is a few minutes off. I think you get the excitement. Oh, that train's not gonna leave. I was like, you wanna see a train moving, right? That's what every video ever in Japan has, is a train moving. I think we're a few minutes, maybe just 1 minute off. Let's go see, there's gotta be a clock. Usually when you see these things here, there's always a clock right next to them. The only clock I have readily available is the one in my camera. Oh, I see a clock. All right. We're walking. This guy did a hard turn. I don't know what that was all about, but I feel like, again, I'm doing the whole down the nose hair thing tonight. Hi. But, so I'm sorry for that. I might just put like a little, what do the kids do now? Like panda bear or koala bear nose over my own, so you don't have to look up my nose, because there's definitely hairs in there, and I've got a cold, so beyond the gold, there's probably other hidden things that are not so hidden in this video. Do my best to hide them. Here we go. It's coming. Here comes the train. We're on it. Get right in there. Oh yeah. How was that? That was me doing like they do. You know what I'm talking about. That was those guys and girls. All right, getting on a fucking train. I'm gonna shut down in about 10 seconds here, because I don't think they won't tolerate this. So we'll find a seat and we'll turn off, okay? Oh, sumimasen, sorry. All right, thank you for watching Film Studio Taku Japan, and I'll see you in the next one.